Tensions continue to rise on the Belarus EU border as a crowd of 4,000 migrants tries to break through barbed wire fences using wire cutters, shovels and even tree trunks. Poland has increased the number of troops patrolling the border from 12,000 to 15,000 soldiers. The European Union accuses Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko of flying migrants from Iraq, Syria and beyond and busing them towards the border in order to destabilize the European Union.
This is a hybrid attack of an authoritarian regime to try to destabilize democratic neighbors, and this will not succeed. We will look into the possibility of sanctioning those airlines who facilitate human trafficking towards Minsk and then the EU-Belarus border.
The European Union said President Lukashenko is doing this out of retaliation of Western sanctions over the crackdown on protests last year. Protests which followed a disputed presidential election which kept him in power. The Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki has accused Belarus of committing acts of terrorism.
This is also Lukashenko's quiet revenge for the fact that we supported democratic elections for people in Belarus.
The border guard said it stopped over 600 illegal crossing attempts since Monday, although a few dozen still successfully got through. Smaller scale border crossings in the area began a few months ago. Poland said 28,000 migrants have breached their borders from Belarus since August. I talked to George Byczynski, a Polish-British political analyst, to take a deeper look into the situation. Poland asked the EU for help.
It's not yet such a crisis that Poland would really need an outside help. At the moment, the border is secure. There is a lot of soldiers now there. They've built some degree of smaller walls protecting the border, and people feel safe. But who knows? If this story develops, and it may as well, then perhaps more support will be needed. There is a heated debate, actually, whether a permanent proper wall should be built with EU's eastern border. And there are many viewpoints, and surprisingly, a lot of the countries that would be ideologically against building walls, because walls are not working, as some argue, they're very supportive that such a wall should be built, because it's in everybody's safety. A lot of people must have realized that the migrants that are coming in through Poland, they're not actually going to Poland. They're heading where there are more social benefits, where there are better opportunities for life, and that's why they realized that if Poland's border would be not properly sealed, they will have those issues in Brussels, in Berlin, in Paris, and in London possibly as well.
So how do you think the EU fueled the flames in this situation of getting to this standpoint? So they imposed sanctions on Belarus, but then I think maybe their stance on immigration in general could be a reason why we've got to this point.
Oh yes, I certainly think that this indecisiveness and the lack of finding a way how to solve this migrant crisis in 2015 revealed that there are many viewpoints, and that there is a pressure from Brussels on this topic, and I do not think that it was very successful. I mean, in 2015, I remember there were such differing opinions, of some saying that all refugees should be accepted because they're all just needing help and they're starving, etc. But then all is a big question, because you can help 3,000, 30,000, maybe even hundreds of thousands, but where does it end? If we just send a message to the whole world that everybody can come in and will not be vetted, will not go through a process, I mean, you know, 500 million people could come, and I'm not actually exaggerating, because a billion people in the world are almost starving. This is official data. So there should have been a way where a clear message should be sent to people that need help around the world of what they can do to apply, and if they apply successfully, then they can seek refuge. But if the message is you just stand on the ground of that country and that will give you a better life, then we will have a lot of poor souls that you cannot really blame them for, because maybe they want just a better life, but they will be coming in with huge numbers. So I think the EU didn't come up with a good solution, and that's why we are here right now with a migrant crisis, and that it may be 10 times bigger in the upcoming weeks. It could be. Why not, actually? I think certainly for now, if this crisis is not resolved by Belarus, because it's clearly their decision how many planes they're bringing from all around the world. I know that 2 consulates, Belarusian consulates in Iraq, were closed recently by the Polish diplomatic efforts, because they were just handing out visas to anybody that asked for it, and promised people, come to Minsk and we will get you to Belarus, do not worry, everything will be fine. So a lot of people moved, you know, some of them whole families with little children seeking a better life. So certainly what must be done, and I know that Poland is doing it in cooperation with other European leaders, is either closing down Belarusian consulates that are doing something completely illegal and maverick in the international scene, or blocking their efforts to provide visa for everybody. This should be seriously scrutinized. Or the border needs to be improved, and a wall would be raised. It's the only way to protect the borders, unless Lukashenko comes up with something else up his sleeve. We don't know what trick or even provocation he could come up with.
Lukashenko's main aim is to destabilize the EU, but I kind of want to go further than that. Like, what do you think his main aim is? You know, why is he using innocent people as pawns and sending them to the Polish borders? What does he hope to achieve?
It's a very good question. I think he should be asked that question, as I wonder myself. It's clearly not helping. There was even a feeling, I think, amongst large parts of Europe that the opposition failed, so they should not be supported anymore, and Lukashenko is the man to speak to. So instead of trying to be in that position, which from his perspective would be politically smart, he's now escalating the conflict and putting himself in this negative light again. So there is likely that there will be more sanctions coming on him, and more pressure from the West. So I think it is a good question, because it is illogical what Lukashenko is doing right now, and I strongly hope that he will understand it. Some sort of a division of the West, it would be in his benefit, I presume, because there would be a variety of voices. Some people would support him, some people wouldn't. So in theory, it would be in his interest. But at the moment, I think his actions are illogical. But then you could think, if it's so bad for him, so illogical, maybe there's somebody else behind it. Therefore, other theories should be analyzed, because whether is he actually silly in making these things, and he's made a lot of mistakes. Trying to objectively opinion him, he's made so many mistakes recently. But is this another mistake, or maybe this is a plan of something more grand? I do not know yet what would that be, but I hope it's nothing too mischievous or evil.
Polish border police on Wednesday claimed they caught the moment Belarusian forces intimidated migrants by firing shots in their presence, and another showing alleged migrants running along the Poland-Belarus border, led by men wearing Belarus military gear. All the while, Lukashenko's government blames Europe and the United States for the plight of the people stranded at the border. Valerie, Browne, The Sun.